a while since I've had little kids, but I remember this distinctly when they throw themselves on the floor at the store because they're not getting the toy that they want, and they have a temper tantrum and they say, I'm not leaving till you buy me that Lego set. Or sometimes our kids will hit us too. That's also disrespectful if they, usually this is the little ones when they hit you or they kick you or bite you. So today we are not talking about children respecting us. We're going to take all these examples that we're talking about and talking about how we can respect our children. And I'll tell you something, that if you do like a Google search for articles on how to get your child to respect you, there's tons of stuff out there. If you do a search of how we can respect our children, very little stuff is out there. Very little. Oh, this is some examples of kids being disrespectful. When your kids sleep in your bed. Kids not leaving you alone. I forgot I had this. How kids don't help you around the house, cleaning up. Okay. So some may say, why do we need to do this? Why is it important for us to respect our children? My child's not my friend. I'm the parent. I'm the person in authority. They are not. I agree with this for the most part. We have a role. I'm the parent, you're the child. We each have very specific roles. But respecting your child is so important. And we're going to talk about why it's important and then go through the how, using those examples of they yell at me, they say mean words. We're going to flip them around and see how we can use those examples flipped around to respect our children. So first, let's talk about what respect is. And everybody, what's the word for respect in Arabic? Ihtiram. So everybody knows what we're talking about, right? Ihtiram. Respect is giving attention and consideration to a person, right? Holding someone in high esteem. Can you translate high esteem? Makan aliyah. Like they're up here. This person is up here for you. High esteem, high regard. And as parents, and I will, for everything in this talk, I am the first one guilty of this. I will just say this. We don't always see our kids this way. And I want you guys we're going to take just 1 minute to go back to your childhood. I want you to remember your childhood. For some of us, this is a little bit painful. You know, some of us had good childhoods, some of us had difficult childhoods. And think about, did your parents respect you, right? They loved you. Of course they did. Did they respect you? And what did it look like and what did it feel like when they didn't respect you? Okay? What did it feel like when they didn't respect you? And maybe you've never thought about this before. I have. Maybe you've never thought about it, but think about, what did it look like? You don't have to share the examples. I want you to tell me, if you're thinking about it, what did it feel like when mom or dad, or whoever was your parent, if it was tita or gidda or an aunt and uncle, the person who was parenting you, what did it feel like when they didn't respect you? Or if you can imagine what that would feel like. Was it a good feeling? No. Perhaps feeling of sadness, anger, resentment, maybe embarrassment, humiliation. Being disrespected does not feel good. So sometimes it helps to go back into our childhood to remember, what was it like for me, so that we can put ourselves in our kids' shoes. Respect is caring how our words and actions impact others. And our children are included, if not the most important. So what we're aiming for is this concept of mutual respect. Mutual just means both. Respect going both ways. And when you respect your child, they will respect you, right? Mutual respect helps to create a healthy parent-child relationship. And that is the basis for so many important things in your child life. It builds trust, right? Trust goes good ways and it promotes good behavior. I have a lot of parents that come to me and say, how can I get my child to listen? How can I get my child to do this? How can I get my child to do this? This helps, right? This is not the fix-all, but respecting your child, they will respect you, it helps. So mutual respect. It teaches your child about the world, right? We live in a society where we have to go to work and respect our bosses. We have to respect our teachers. We have to respect the kids in the school. We have to respect others. We're going to have a partner someday. We need to respect them. So it teaches them that respect is important. And if is something that is instilled in them, it'll come naturally. If they feel that mutual respect in the home, it'll come naturally. We want them to respect the abunas and the older people in the church and to hold the door for people, right? Like we want that in our kids. It starts at home and then it multiplies. It teaches your child, in part, how to form healthy relationships. So maybe your kid's really little, you're not really thinking about them being married someday or being in a relationship someday. But what happens now, right, is so important in terms of the type of relationship that they will be in later. So us parents play such an important, essential role in teaching our kids how to have a healthy relationship. Critical role. We all want our sons and daughters to have a healthy and respectful relationship, and that starts with us as parents. So if a child grows up being disrespected, yelled at, put down, told your opinions don't matter, this is what they're going to think is normal. And sometimes people gravitate or go towards relationships where this is going on because they think, oh, this is what love is, right? And that's not what we want for our children. So my parents have their faults. I love my parents. But one thing they were really good at was making me feel respected as a child. Like, I think I've brought up a lot of the things they've done wrong in this meeting. So if you see my parents, you can tell them I said something nice about them today. They no matter what, always treated me respectfully. And because of that, as I grew, as I became an adult, I never stood for something. If I felt like I didn't deserve something, I would say, I don't deserve this. Like, my values matter. My opinions matter. I matter, right? And that is something that we want for all of our kids. And even though this is not what today's talk is about, I have to throw in there that respect between the parents, between mom and dad, is crucial. A healthy relationship between mom and dad is important. We talk about this in other times, but kids are watching what we're doing. They're watching how mom is talking to dad and how dad is talking to mom. So if there's kind words, loving words, if there's respect between mom and dad, they're seeing that, right? And it's important that they see that. If it's the other, they're watching. If a disagreement happens, which it happens, of course it does, because that's part of marriage, is that we don't always agree, apologies have to happen, okay? Either in front of the kids, or you tell your kids, hey, listen, I was really upset with dad. It was, he didn't do anything wrong. It was totally my fault. I want to let you know I apologize to him. I'm sorry that you saw that, right? Like taking responsibility. And then also apologizing to, are you waving at me, Abuna? No, okay. Okay, Hiba, Abuna said, can you translate some of that? Maybe quickly. It's 7:30. So. Which part? The part about parents respecting each other and the kids watching?
I know.
Okay.
I know what you want to say. So, ميري كانت بتقول ان الاحترام هي ان الواحد لما بيكلم واحد في طريقة كلامه وفي حنيته وفي تون صوته بيوري الشخص ده انه هو في مكانة عالية جدا وذو قيمة. في علاقتنا مع عيالنا من اهم الحاجات انها بتفتح الاحترام المتبادل. يعني حقيقي لما احنا بنحترم عيالنا هم بيحترمونا وبيتعلموا. دي اول حاجة. تاني حاجة انها بتعلم العيال ازاي مكانتهم في المجتمع وازاي يحترموا الغير كمان. السن الاكبر يحترموا الناس اللي هي في مكانة اعلى او زي الاسس. ازاي يكون عندهم الوعي ده ان كل حد وكل مكان له احترام بطريقة معينة. ودي حاجات بنواجهها في اليومين دول كتير ان العيال عندهم نقص في الحتة دي شوية. اهم نقطة هي ثالث نقطة اللي ابونا عايزني اكد عليها، وهي انا بحترم العيال وهم صغيرين وبيكبروا حاسين ان ليهم كيان وان هم رأيهم بيفرق وكيانهم ده بيفرق، مش مضغوطين وحد مصغرهم قوي او بيهنهم واجعهم على طول. اللي بنشوفه في الكبر ساعات ان الشخص اللي مضغوط وهو صغير او متهان للأسف في منهم مجموعة لما بتكبر بتروح تجاه علاقات في الزواج اذا كانت بنت او ولد. يعني ممكن الريليشن شيب دي يكون فيها اهانات برضو، لان هم من كتر ما شافوا بيعتبروا ان ده العادي، ان ده الحب كده، الحب فيه هنا، الحب فيه شتيمه، الحب فيه كده. فدي بتبقى مشكله لما بيكبروا. او البديل ان هم يبتدوا ينفذوا اللي شافوه هم صغيرين، فيبقوا هم اللي مش respecting الغير. بس I think and self-respect you haven't mentioned yet.
Alrighty. Okay, last point is the importance of self-respect. Really quickly, is that to show respect, I can't even fix this. To show respect to others, I'm gonna hold this. To show respect to others, you have to respect yourself, meaning like you have to love yourself. Okay, so this is a small point, but a big issue, is that if you don't feel good about yourself, if you don't feel that you're worthy of respect and worthy of love, it's hard to show respect and love to somebody else. So that's something I want you to think about. Sometimes this comes from childhood. If, you know, dad didn't treat you so well and put you down a lot, maybe you don't think positively about ourselves. So this note is to say that as parents, as people, parents, we're still people, we have to work on ourselves constantly to be good parents and good spouses and really good people in general. So we have to always be looking at what was my childhood like, how is this affecting me now, how is it affecting my parenting right now. I can go on and on, but that's not what today's about. Okay, so we talked about the why. Let's talk about the how. That's what I'm going to spend the rest of the 30 minutes doing, how. So the first one is modeling. Very, very basic. Kids learn by seeing, right? Like kids learn what you do, they will do, whether or not you like it, right? Like what you say, they will say. And I see it, I mean, how many people here see it in their kids? They do what you do and say what you say. All the time. And sometimes it's from my husband and not from me. And I'm like, oh my God. I love my husband. But sometimes, I mean, so if you want your child to respect you out of love, not out of fear, then you need to show them respect. Modeling is the best way for kids to learn, more than saying, do this, do this. Modeling is, if you want your kids, you know, like a definition. If you want your kids to take out the garbage every week, you take out the garbage every week and they'll say, okay, I need to do this. If you want your kids to pray, right? How do you get your kids to pray? You pray with them, they watch you, this is modeling. So we can't say, do as I say and not as I do. I don't think that we do this on purpose. I think we do this subconsciously or not on purpose. And I'll give you an example. I'm guilty of this. I say, Jacob, get off your phone. You know, we're around people. Get off your phone and put it away. And I'm on my phone. And he points it out to me and he says, but you're on your phone. And he's 100% correct. And I apologize. So our kids are always watching, even when we think they're not. Especially the little ones are always they're all watching. So modeling is so important. Okay? The next one is respecting your child's feelings. So I think we said this, somebody said it over here. Doesn't it drive you crazy when your kid asks you something over and over and over and over, or it comes up to you, you know, when you're on the phone and they say, mom, 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 dad, 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 dad. How many people have had this happen to them? Oh, a million times, right? And it usually sometimes takes us a few minutes to pay attention. Does this make them feel respected? Definitely not. I would say definitely not. Because it's the opposite. We gave that opposite example. If I say, Jacob, 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 he doesn't listen, I get so frustrated, right? So where is it coming from? It's coming partially from there. And I'll teach you, one of my very good friends taught me a really great method. Hiba, I need a person. Taught me a really great method of teaching your kids that if you want to talk to me and I'm talking to somebody, I want you to know that you're really important to me, but how can we do this without you saying mom, 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 mom? So Hiba is me, right? And she's talking to somebody, and I'm Hiba's child, and I want to talk to her. And what my friend taught me is, and my kids do this, they put their hand on my arm, and Hiba, put your hand on top of mine. So I put my hand on top of theirs to say, I recognize that you want to talk to me, I acknowledge that you want to talk to me, and you're next, okay? Believe it or not, It works. Luca does it all the time. And he'll catch himself. He'll be like, Mom. And then he'll put his hand on my arm. It's very calming. And then I put my hand on his. And he knows he's next. He's important to me. And I respect him. It really, really works. So try it today. Try it. So their feelings matter. Let's try it with husband and wife too. Why not? Let's do it. Sure. Put your, not on their mouth. On their arm. That's a different talk. Okay. Be careful with the words that you use with them. We said sometimes they use words that are hurtful. We do that too. And I think both in the English language and the Arabic language, we say things that are not, like, we don't say bad words, and I don't know the examples, but I know, I'll bring my parents back. They said stuff that I was like, oh, that doesn't seem very nice. And then later I grew up, I was like, that's not nice. Like they would say stuff that I think is kind of accepted in our culture to say. I don't even know the examples. And I don't even want to, I'm sure everybody here knows. Yeah, stuff like that. All sorts of, I'm not even going to try to, so, yeah. And our kids know, even if they don't understand, they know the sentiment. So I didn't really understand, but I was like, I think my dad's making fun of me, right? Like I know that the sentiment, and it hurts. And those words, you keep them with them till adult. If you were called that as a child, you guys still remember it to this day, I'm sure. So your kids still remember it. And I know that we think we're joking. There's other ways to joke besides that. And we put our kids down to them and to other people. Oh, she's so crazy. Oh, she's such a teenager. She's so moody. Oh, he never listens. Or we say it to our child, like we said, or we say things like, stop crying, be a man. Sometimes we're insulting or sarcastic. Yeah, don't be stupid, or whatever the translated version. So they might laugh on the outside. Your kids might laugh on the outside, but those words hurt. Like they hurt. And they follow you into adulthood, and they definitely don't show respect. And we wouldn't want our kids to do that to us, right? So always flip it around. So try to use kind words even when you're upset, because when we want our kids to do the same, right? My kids do they say shut up to each other when they're angry, and I don't want them to do that. So when I'm upset, I need to model showing kind words when I'm upset. I need to be patient with them. And don't laugh at your kids. I know this is a small thing, but I think it happens when it's not appropriate. If they're funny, laugh all you want. Yes? Mm-hmm. So I will tell you, okay, so I will tell you this. What I tell my kids is, if you've heard a bad word at school, you can come to me and say it one time. I will tell you what it means, or if you don't know, I will find out what it means. You're not going to get in trouble that one time. If you keep saying it, it's not acceptable and they need a consequence. But you tell them beforehand. So you said this bad word, we'll say banana is a bad word. You said banana, I explained to you what banana means. It's very disrespectful. You said it that one time, that's fine. If you say it again, let's agree what's going to happen. Because we said we don't say that word in this house. But the consequence needs to be agreed on beforehand, right? And with all patience and love and respect. Still can be respectful, giving them that consequence or telling them we don't say that word here. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. So don't laugh at your kids. I mean, I think some kids are like, we think they're tougher and but still it can be hurtful. It can be disrespectful. Look at the reason why you're laughing. I find sometimes we laugh when we don't know how to handle hard feelings or we don't know how to deal with a situation. So look at why you're laughing. Active listening. Please.
Because you really brought. عندي مثلين وحقيقيين حصلوا من سنين يعني maybe 15 years ago. Different churches, maybe this church and another church. الأب والأم قدام القرايب بدأوا يعلقوا على جسم الابن أو البنت وكان في ولد وبنت. بقت became a theme يعني عارف يعني ايه يعني هي دي الجوك اللي تعودنا عليها ففي الام كانت بتعيب على مثلا الثاي بتاع بنتها look how big or look ويضحكوا ويهزروا الولد كانوا they tell him انت هتطلع خلبوس زي شبه خالك بالظبط خاله كان very much overweight way overweight الولد ده جاله طبعا الكومنت مش هي واحدة اللي هتعلق، بس ممكن كومنت تدخل وما تطلعش. الولد ده starts to care so much about food what he eats to the extent ده ان هو دخل inpatient hospital وفضل يستراجل years لحد اما اتعالج. you see حاجة ممكن تكون حاجة صغيرة، فوانا بتكلم معاه over time بقى he heard وهو صغير ان هو زي خاله بالظبط وهيطلع شبه خاله بالظبط، فدي اللي علقت معاه رغم ان هو ما كانش اوفر ويت، بس هو ايه انا لو ما خدتش بالي هبقى زي ده، فخدها بطريقه مرضيه and he started sometimes even joking على حاجات صغيره maybe مش احنا مش واخدين بالنا انها هتأثر بس بتأثر. يعني make fun مثلا بص بيتكلم ازاي او بص الحروف بتاعته طالعه ازاي sometimes يعني حاجه funny وهم لسه صغيرين ده can create issues. ف we have to be very careful what do we say about our kids in front of people. مش المهم ان الناس تضحك على الجوكس بتاعتنا وبالذات على حساب ولادنا يعني. ف we have to be careful. Sometimes we're not filtering things. And why we're making the jokes. يعني يعني بصي it depends but if every single time انا بعيب على العربي او بضحك على العربي وكل حد بيضحك هم مش واخدين بالهم ان هم it's not funny. ما بينك وما بينه it's okay نضحك بس sometimes in front of people no كمان maybe بتأثر على السيلف esteem ويبقوا afraid ان هم يتكلموا فاهمين. فدي حاجة. الحاجة التانية عشان it's really important ساعات في الاعتراف بعرف يعني من طريقة كلامهم ونظرتهم لنفسهم قد ايه هم يعني حاسين بقيمتهم قدام بابا وماما وربنا و how they're proud of themselves و how sometimes they're so defeated ان هم ولا حاجة لا شيء. وما بيكبروا التشويسز اللي هم بيعملوها روحيا حتى we're talking about spiritual روحيا بتبقى منعكسة من الطريقة اللي هم grow up بيها. انت لا شيء او ما بتفهمش حاجة او ما فيش اي حاجة بتقولها ليها قيمة فطول عمرك انت ماشي ايه ماشي مع الكراودز لان انت انا حاسس ان انا ما عنديش حاجة ما فيش حاجة مهمة اقدر اقولها. فبسمع لمين الفاني كيد في السكول البوبيولار كيد في السكول I'll walk I have no value. فعشان كده الحتة اللي هبة ترجمتها اللي ماري قالتها it's really important. فنخلي بالنا نوع الكومنتس الضحك الهزار الحاجات دي. احنا طبعا مش هنبقى ماسكين قلم ورقة ومخليين بالنا يعني بس we have to think يعني ممكن ياخدها بطريقة او وممكن ساعات نقول لأولادنا was I too much يعني ساعات انا بهزر maybe too much على بنتي مثلا او حاجة حصلت في المدرسة I'm sorry if I was too much مثلا. I can go back وأقول okay I will not go there again. I have to be careful. It's really important الموضوع ده.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, Sharif.
Other people, like friends, extended family, Sunday school teacher, like do this and that, making fun of them, laughing at the kids.
It's a good. So. So still not okay. I mean, so it depends. So if it was me and my child's Sunday school teacher was doing that, I would go to the Sunday school teacher and say, with all respect and love, it's not acceptable. You can't talk to my child like that. Family member, same thing. It doesn't matter if it's family. This is my child. All respect and love. You know, FIFA doesn't like it when you do that. Can you not, whatever it is. Like, I know, I think it's funny, but it's, she doesn't think it's whatever it is, however you need to say it, you are your child's, like, I'm my child's defender, an advocate, like, I'm their person, right? Like, you're their person. Like, who else do they have? You know what I mean? So, absolutely, Sharif. That's a good question. Don't mess it up. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And
So we said we're going to talk more about it, but if your child is feeling sad, yeah, to say, that sounds really hard. You don't have to judge someone to say, that sounds like that really hurt. That would have really hurt my feelings. We're not judging a person. We're talking about the actions that the person did.
Calling what's wrong is wrong.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with
You
that.
have to know that. يعني that know what he did was wrong.
Yeah.
حتى لو أنت عملت حاجة غلط.
You're not judging.
That's not the way.
You're not judging. You're not saying he's a bad person. You're saying that person did something wrong. Yeah. And that person should not treat you like that. And if they do, if it's a kid, tell the teacher. If it's an adult, I will speak to that adult. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. All very good questions. So the next way that we can, and I can talk about this all day, the next way that we can show our kids respect is actually getting harder and harder these days. And it's harder between husbands and wives too, for sure, is using active listening. So when you talk to your child or husband or wife, use active listening. It's when you're actively paying attention. You put not just your phone down, you put your phone away, put it off, put the phone on the other side of the room, turn off the TV, put down the device, and look at their eyes. So for your kids, depending on their age, they may not look at you. That's okay. That's okay. If they're looking one way, you still look at them because they're going to know if you're looking at them. So don't be creepy. You don't have to stare at them, but just look at them, hear what they're saying, and repeat back what they're saying. Doesn't have to be word for word. That sounds like that kid was making fun of you. That sounds tough, right? Repeat. If they're little, right, get down to their level so you're not talking to them like this. Sit with them, sit next to them, and listen carefully and be patient. I know that we're all so busy. We're so tired. We have a million things to do. But take a minute and think, like, is making dinner really more important? Is doing the laundry really more important? Is sending that email really more important? What's important here? Listen and encourage, nod your head, say, Use open-ended questions. Which means, so not yes or no questions. Don't say, whatever, did you have a good day? Yes or no. But to say, tell me more about that. What do you mean by that? How was that? How'd that make you feel? What do you think about this? And allow for some silence. Abuna will tell you that as therapists, we're supposed to use silence in our sessions because people talk when it's quiet. If I talk all the time, my kids are not going to talk. A little bit of silence, especially in the car. Give them a chance to talk. Depending on your child, a little bit of physical contact. Hold their hands when you're listening to them. My son does not like physical contact, so I don't do that. He really doesn't like it. But if they're really, put them on your lap. If they're little, hold their hand, touch their hair, whatever they like, so that you know that you're connecting and you're listening to them. Our goal is to give our kids a safe space to talk, right? We want to be their safe space without fear of how we're going to react, without judgment, without any rejection. It doesn't matter if what they're saying is good or right. It just matters that they're opening up to you and you're listening to them, right? I'm not saying that they're going to say, hey, Mom, I'm going to go drink. And you're like, great. No. You're just listening. And, of course, you're still the parent. Like we said at the beginning, you're a child, parent. Those roles are still very clear. That doesn't change when you use active listening. And it's important to use your body language to show you're listening. So if you can see the picture on the screen, which person looks like they're not really listening? The one with their arms crossed, right? And the other person looks like they're talking, listening. So even if watch yourself, because there's all science around body language and listening and talking, is if you're like this, they're going to think Mom's not listening, Dad's angry, whatever it is. And watch your face too. We all have that part here that gets a little bit tight when we're angry, and they'll say, you're angry, even if you're not. So watch your facial features and your body as much as you can. I know it's hard to do, as much as you can. Okay. I might finish this next week. I don't know if I'm going to finish it. We'll see. We only have 10 minutes. Okay. We talked about this a little bit. Let them have their feelings. If your child is upset, please don't tell them you shouldn't be upset, right? Please don't tell them you shouldn't feel this way. And this can be tough. especially when what they're upset with seems so silly, right? It seems like this is not a big deal. Why are you upset? To them, it matters, and they just need to get through it. You have to accept their feelings and tell them, I know you really wanted that last piece of cake. You didn't get it. I can see you're upset. Meanwhile, you're like, it's cake, although cake is really good. But like, it's cake. It's not a big deal. But you have to, they need somebody to understand them and validate their feelings, saying, you don't have to agree, right? To say like, you're right. That's terrible that you didn't get the last piece of cake. To say, I understand you're upset. Who else is going to do that for them? Like, who else in this world is going to do that? You are that person for them. Understand them, validate, don't judge them. If there's something that they're doing, we correct out of love. We correct and we do it respectfully. We just want them to express their feelings appropriately. So in that, I often show this, and I'll show it today, is that when we are growing up, our parents taught us how to speak. We learned how to speak. We learned how to say mama, baba, right? And nobody ever taught us the language of emotions, right? Happy, sad, angry, maybe surprised, right? Nobody ever taught us, oh, you're feeling frustrated. That's what you're feeling. Oh, you're feeling disappointed. That's what you're feeling. So a lot of work that I do with adults now is, let's talk about, like, what is this emotion that you're feeling? Let's give some words. So for kids, there's this. I don't know if I'm sure I've showed this many times before. This is a feelings face. You can buy this on Amazon. You can print it out for free and put it on your refrigerator. You can tape it and say, how are you feeling? Tell me how you're feeling. There's so many feelings. And this one is good for little kids because they can see the faces and they can point to it and say, I am feeling a little hopeful. I am feeling overwhelmed. My kids are actually so tired of me talking about feelings that I don't know which one, I think they usually pick annoyed or something, because I'm like, how are you feeling? They're like, again, because I do it all the time. They can't take it. As they get older, there is something called a feelings wheel, and this is so I will show you the adult version. This is the little kids version of the feelings wheel. It has different types of feelings and then different words inside. So I am mad. Well, what is more specific than mad? Am I annoyed? Am I disgusted? Am I feeling rage? I'm sad. Am I lost? Am I down? So this is the pizza feeling wheel for kids. And then this is hard to see, but this is what I use with adults. And in the middle are your basic feelings that we all learned when we were little: happy, sad, angry, disgusted. And as you go out towards each circle, like the next circle is a little bit more specific, the last circle is a little bit more specific. It's not perfect, but it gives you and your child a chance to figure out, how am I feeling? I know I'm sad, but what is it, right? So not just letting them have emotions, but encouraging those emotions, talking about those emotions as much as possible. I know that this is not everybody's cup of tea, right? But again, if they're not going to talk to you about it, who are they going to? You want them to come to you and talk about it, right? You want to be their person. Encourage their opinions. So kids, not just teenagers and preteens, kids of all ages have their own opinions. And I will never forget the first time, I think our oldest son was 3, I want to say 3 or 2 or 3, when he expressed an opinion of I don't want to do that. And in being our first child, we were like, what do you mean you don't want to do that? Usually you're, when you're the parent, you just do whatever you want to do. And as they get older, you're like, it changes your whole life when they start to make decisions and to say, I don't want to do that. As much as you can. And I know life doesn't always allow for it, but try to encourage and listen to their opinions. Try to cultivate it. Cultivate. Okay, plant it. Okay, reap it, cultivate it, instead of discourage, right? Try to say things like, that's an interesting idea. I never thought about that. Or, I understand that you want to go here rather than there. We can't do that today, but maybe we can do that another time. Their opinions, right? I don't agree with you, but I respect your opinion. I'm glad you shared your thoughts with me. I want to hear more. The more you respect their opinion, the more they will be able to hear what you and others say, and the more they'll share with you, right? They are going to also learn how to disagree with others in a respectful and loving manner. So if you say, I hear your opinion, it's different than mine, right? But I still respect it. They can go and take that skill and use it with others, with their teachers, with their peers as they get older. Allow your child to be your teacher. Be slow to fix their problems. Give them a chance to try and figure things out. You know, if between spouses, if I have a problem and my husband says, I'll fix it for you, I know what to do, like, I'll just do it. It makes me feel disrespected. Like, I just need to talk about it. I don't need you to fix it. If I want you to fix it, I will ask you to fix it. The same thing for our kids. And I know it's hard because we love them and we want to jump in and fix their problems. They're having problems at school, problems with friends. When they come to you and they have a problem, be empathetic, which means listen with an open ear and tell them, I can see how you're feeling. And by doing that, you're empowering, giving them the power to make their own decisions if appropriate. And if they make mistakes, which they do, we all do, be respectful when you correct them. That wasn't the right thing to do, you know, but we all make mistakes. It's okay. Let's talk about it, right? Please? Yeah. That's very cultural, yes. I still do it even though like I was born here. It's just, oh my God, yeah.
You said something that I wanna...
Go ahead, yeah.
So the active listening, الاستماع الحيوي ده ميري يعني أكتر حاجة بتقولها إزاي نساعد عيالنا هي إن إحنا بنسبق بإنهم ينجحوا في إنهم يبقوا بيحترمونا. يعني اللي إحنا هنقدمها لهم أو المساحة اللي هنديها لهم هتخليهم ينجحوا أكتر في إنهم يحترمونا. ودي I think it's crucial like that we are setting them up for success by active listening, right? يعني إحنا دايما بنزعل لما هم ما يحترموناش ودي بتبقى أكبر حاجة. بس عمرنا ما بننقد نفسنا إحنا هيئنا الظروف إزاي قبل عشان هم يحترمونا أو لأ. يعني فكل حاجة كانت بتقولها من حتة إن أنا أمسك إيده أقول له ثانية واحدة أبقى بصة أنزل لمستواهم أسمعهم أديهم وقت أسأل أسئلة عشان أفهم منهم أكتر إزاي أديهم الأولوية. يعني مش مهم الطبيخ مش مهم الإيميل مش مهم يعني كل دي حاجات صغيرة جدا بس فعلا كلها رسائل بتقول إيه أنت مهم بالنسبة لي وأنا عايزة أسمع. فهو بالتالي حتى from a physical standpoint I think the adrenaline and the fight response is not there. صح يعني هم مش هيبقوا انا محتاجه انتقم دلوقتي حالا فهرمونات مش بتطلع في جسمهم يبقوا عايزين يلاش باك اتس هيبقوا اهدى. فده كله هيهدي التون في البيت ويساعد على نمو الاحترام. والحته بتاعه الاراء دي and I know we're tight in time might as well yeah I think so too. حته احترام الاراء دي مهمه قوي عشان كاهل احنا عايزين العيال يعملوا نفذ وايه عشان يومي يبقى سهل وحياتي تبقى سهله. انا ورايا 100 حاجه والليست عندي ورايا كده وهعمل كذا وطنط لسه فلما بيقولوا راي اللي هو لا اتركن على جنب او معلش وقت تاني. بس اما رحنا الاجابي بروجكت في كذا كنيسه انتوا مش هتخيلوا كميه الاسئله اللي بتجيلنا ان اهالي بتيجي تقول انا من كتر ما انا ضغطت على عيالي ابني 17 سنه ممحي الشخصيه بنتي 20 سنه like the questions we get where they say our kids don't have a personality I'm afraid right مش عارفين ياخدوا قرار في حياتهم مش عارفين يموف فورورد علشان عمر ما حد نمى رايهم في الاساس. فاحنا لازم نفكر نفسنا ان هم ليهم كيان مستقل. حلو.
So if it's wrong, oh yeah. Qara is opinion or decision? Opinion. Okay. Okay. Mhm. Okay. The what? Yeah. Okay. Mhm. Okay, so that is a great opportunity for communication because there has to be a why. He doesn't make nobody makes a decision for no reason, right? It has to have a reason. That is, it's not. So it's not, so in the end, it's not that you're going to, it's not that we're going to do what our kids want to do 100%, right? Like I can't, so the more, so it's, we have, sometimes we make choices that our kids don't like that are best for him. But to continue to say, I know, I understand that this is hard for you. I know that you love basketball. I know how important it is to you. I'm making this decision because I know what's best for you. You might be upset with me. That's okay. I still love you. Like, you can be mad at me if you want to, right? Like, give them that permission. It's okay. I will love you no matter what. But Dad and I are making this decision because we know what's best for you. And I want you to keep coming to me and telling me your opinions, right? Like, we don't want this to close the door for him to be like, well, I told Mom my opinion and she didn't take it. Keep the door open to say, I still want to hear your opinions, and let's figure out a way. Let's get you in a basketball club or something. Like, let's sign you up for anything. What is that word? مميزات. Now he doesn't want to say it. Yes. Yes. Yeah. He is a smart kid. Yeah. Right. Sometimes we have to make a decision for our kids, not sometimes, many times, that they don't like, but it's best for them, right? Yeah. Yes, it'd be like, that's, yeah. And it's, you have to be patient. You know, there may not be, it's going to stop in a week or two until he gets it out of his system, right? I know, it's hard. We'll finish next week, I think, because the kids are done. Thank you. No, I don't know who's teaching next week. I'll figure it out.
I just want to remind you, بنعمة ربنا, next Sunday we have الولاد, الكواير بتاع الولاد من كل الأعمار ورا بعض كده من 12:45 ل 1:45. I think most of our kids are there. فيعني invite the parents and grandparents and relatives عشان to enjoy this presentation. يوم May 7th الحد الجاي بنعمة ربنا. والحاجة التانية ان الحد اللي بعده we have a Mother's Day Festival. طبعا بنقول للمامز كلهم يعني Happy Mother's Day. فهيبقى فيه الفestival يوم الحد اللي بعده اللي هو 14 والباركينج لوت هيبقى مقفول وهنجيب لكم شاورما وكبده اسكندراني وكل الحاجات اللي انتوا عايزينها طبعا. فبرضو spread the word وقولوا للناس وتعالوا enjoy.
اول رقم يا بونا, انا مش معيش النضاره. 361 361 اهو اول زبونه.
ثانك يو حبيبي.
انا مش شايفه انت لابسه نضاره. 388 مش معقوله.
388 388
اهو
388
او يا بونا
يعني ليها 2 هديتين. ازيك يا لا لسه maybe one more. 392 مين 392 392
392
هو ايه دي حاجات تانية مين ناردين ماشت ولا لا لسه هنا اهي تعالي ناردين لا ناردين Is it the birthday? Whose birthday this month? April. هو same last name سليمان؟ What's
انت عيد ميلادك في ابريل.
هو انت متلخبطه ليه؟ يعني عيد ميلادك واسمك طبعا نتلخبط ليه؟ فين رائف؟ تعال اهو مريان رائف عشان عيد ميلاده. والاستاذ ابو شوشه اتفضل. لو اخوك كان هنا كنت قلت لك مرقص، بس هو مش هنا. ليه؟ هابي بيرثدي يا جماعه. مين تاني؟ في حد كان في شهر 3 عيد ميلاده؟ مين؟ بطرس. تعالى يا بطرس. مين؟ مين تعالي. طيب تعالي. هي نفس الهدية اللي انتوا خدتوها يا بطرس، فخلاص هتبقى مكررة. الثاني. اهلا بيكي. لا انا شفناكم انت. انا شفتكم المرة اللي فاتت. ازاي؟ تعيشي. طب ممكن هنبتدي الساعة 7 لو في مديح لقديس. النهاردة طبعا ماري جرجس ده أمير الشهداء، فيعني بدأنا بالمديح، بس المرة الجاية ممكن نقعد مع الولاد ونعمل مديح مع بعض، عشان ساعات المحاضرة بتبقى مدتها طويلة، فهي ساعة، فممكن نعمل المديح يا إبلين بعد مع العيال مع الولاد. ما كانش فيها a lot of people. طيب في مين تاني؟ ماري مرقص. طبعا.
عيد ميلاده شهر 3 اللي ما خدوش.
شهر 3 مين تاني؟ خد يا ماري. شهر 3 ده ايه ده؟ مين؟ أميرة ولا الثانية؟ بطرس. طيب هابي بيرثدي يا بطرس. خد. تعيش حبيبي تعيش. طب ممكن نصلي؟ مايكل فين؟ مايكل تعالى يا مايكل. هابي بيرثدي يا مايكل. خد يا حبيبي. ثانك يا حبيبي. أخيرا يا رب اجعلنا مستحقين أن ندعوك بدالة البنين قائلين يا أبانا الذي في السماوات يتقدس اسمك، يأتي ملكوتك، تكن مشيئتك كما في السماء كذلك. أعطنا اليوم يا رب، اغفر لنا ذنوبنا كما نغفر نحن أيضا للمذنبين إلينا، ولا تدخلنا في تجربة لكن نجينا من الشرير، بالمسيح يسوع ربنا، أن لك الملك والقوة والمجد للأبد. محبة الله الآب ونعمة ابنه الوحيد وشركة وموهبة وعطية الروح القدس فلتكن مع جميعكم. امضوا بالسلام. سلام الرب يكون معكم. ربنا يكون معاكم. كل سنة وانتم طيبين. خريستوس أنستي.